Hello everybody, my name's Aquilla Fleetwood. I'm the author of Night Signs, The Heavens Declare, Psalms 19:1, Aquilla Fleetwood. And this is how I believe the constellations, or asterisms, would probably be a better word for it, should look, which circle this star right here. Now this star right here is called the North Star. And technically it does move, but if you get up in the middle of the night, and or let's say about 11 o'clock, and you look up at the North Star, and then you go back in the house and come back out at 2 o'clock in the morning, it really is there in the same place. So it's basically from vision during the night. It doesn't move. Now the earth tilts on its axis, and of course as it does that, then this star here will either get closer to the horizon or go higher up in the horizon before it starts tilting back at the equinox. Okay, so first thing you notice here, let me move this over just a little bit more. First thing you notice here is, like I said, the North Star. This is called the Little Dipper. It's very dim, so you need a dark skies area to really see a lot of this good. But there's actually 7 stars in this. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's the way it should be. So 7 is an important number, first off, in Scripture. In Paleo-Hebrew, and of course what I've actually done is drawn these out in Paleo-Hebrew letters. So why would I do that? What would make me think that there's something written in Paleo-Hebrew up in our night skies to begin with? Well, first off, writing began somewhere. From a biblical point of view, where did that writing begin from? Well, Genesis 11:1 says that at one time that the earth was of one language. And of course, if you believe the story of Noah, which I do, I believe the Bible, I believe the biblical account of creation. What was that language? What did Noah speak? Was it written? Why did man, this right here is called the Northern Cross, which is actually shaped just like the Paleo-Hebrew letter Taw, which means mark, seal, covenant, or sign. So why did, long before Christ came to die upon a cross, why did the ancient Paleo-Hebrews have this particular letter shaped like the cross of Christ in its alphabet? Now, there's 2 shapes to it. One of them is, of course, this cross. And another one is kind of like an X. But either way, it's still a cross. And that cross is there, obviously. Long before Jesus came and died upon the cross, there it was. So, how did it get there? Was it just a fluke that early man happened to put this shape in its alphabet? Or was it God directed, given by man from God? Well, that makes more sense. I mean, after all, what are the odds? Let's just say 3 major religions. Christianity, Islam, and Judaism. Let's just use those 3. Are there more? Well, yeah, of course there's many more. So what's the odds that this cross came in here? Okay, so what I did, I noticed this cross, and I knew that it was a Paleo-Hebrew letter Taw. Now normally this is called the Great Summer Triangle right here. And I knew that triangle was the letter Dalet, which meant door. Of course, this is the Proto-Canaanite letter Dalet, which is shaped like a fish. But it's still part of the Semitic languages. Shem, it has to do with Shem, who was a son of Noah. Because there's a family of Semitic languages. Even Arabic is part of that family. So that, I knew that this letter, if you want to draw it as a triangle or leave it as a great summer triangle, that's fine. Go ahead and do it. And I knew that this letter Dalet plus the letter Taw spelled the word dot. And dot is in Deuteronomy 33:2. It's the last letter in Deuteronomy chapter 33, verse 2. And it's the letter Dalet and Taw, which means law. Word picture is door of the cross. What's that point to? Jesus Christ. So I also redrew this. This is Cassiopeia. It's upside down here, but I left it the same because it's the letter Shin. Just flip it around and it looks like a W. It's a picture of a sharp tooth. But all these constellations, as they're going around, are going to be right side up, sideways over here, or sideways the other way over here, or this will go around here. This is the letter Resh. It's called Hercules, and it's not drawn right. So this is comes up and it's upside down. Well, I'm sorry. This is Hercules. This is Baotes. Yeah, misspoke. It's Baotes. This is Hercules, which is a wall. It's a little distorted. Our letter H came from it. If you put that sideways, you can see it's a wall. Het, which means a fence or a wall in Paleo-Hebrew. So this letter plus Dalet plus Taw says fiery law. This is Camelopardalis. All I did was shorten up this hump. It's supposed to be like a giraffe or something. It's not. It's a letter Bet. It's a letter Bet, which would be shaped something like this. Okay. It's a house. It's a tent beside a hill. Is what that is. Now this is the Big Dipper, so-called Big Dipper, and it's not. These three stars right here, this one have nothing to do with this cup. You come on down here. It's a cup in the hand of the Lord. Psalm 75 verse 8, for in the hand of the Lord there is a cup. But you come down here and then that. This is his elbow. The hand in Hebrew was from the tip to the elbow. So, for in the hand of the Lord there is a cup. And out of this cup comes cursings and blessings. Just read Psalm 75:8. Now, this is the way that I drew this one here. It's the letter Hey. It's not a serpent. It's not a dragon. It's the letter Hey. It's a man standing with a sharp two-edged sword coming out of his mouth. It's just this letter Yud plus the letter Hey spells Yah in Paleo-Hebrew. And this is Revelation 1:16. For out of the Lord's mouth cometh a sharp two-edged sword. So this so-called Little Dipper is nothing but a coming out of the mouth of Jesus Christ. This is a symbol of Christ anyway. What's a man doing in the word Yah to begin with? Well, because Christ is God. He's Emmanuel. Isaiah 7:14 and Isaiah 9:14 talk about how Christ shall be called Emmanuel. Emmanuel means with us. El means God. With us, God. And there's a place in Hebrews where it talks about Christ being God. So this is the letter Vav. It's a peg. It's a nail, symbol of a nail. As a prefix, it means and. These have variants, so don't worry. If you see something different, there are variants to this. So keep that in mind. So what you do is, okay, Hey and Resh spell har. What does har mean in Paleo-Hebrew? Har. 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 Mountain. Means mountain in Hebrew. So Let's just read this. Zayin, Hay, and Resh means to teach or like. It's Zayar, to teach my house. This is a prefix Yud for my house. Bet, my house. Bet is those are invisible words in biblical Hebrew, is a fiery law. And, remember this is looking up like this, and is another invisible biblical word. It doesn't exist in biblical Hebrew. And a wall to bruise, this is Gimel. It's normally called a corona borealis, but it's not. It's the heel of Christ, and this is serpent's kaput, which is actually accurate because serpent's kaput constellation, it's a circle with a cross in it, means head of the serpent. And this is a symbol of the head of Christ fixing to come down and bruise the head of the serpent. And notice this cross, notice this taw inside this circle. This is a circle with a cross in it. So this is talking about what? Genesis 3:15, which is the first hint of prophecy about the coming of the Christ. As the coming of Christ is prophesied throughout the Old Testament, line upon line, precept upon precept, a little in this area of time. Then a little bit more would be added by another prophet in the future. Then another one. Then another one. They'd keep adding prophecy, trying to point to the coming of Jesus Christ until the day was fulfilled that Christ did come to this earth and die upon the cross. He died upon this taw. Genesis 1:14 says the stars shall be for signs. That means this is taw and this is taw. There's two versions of it. Means sign. Very simple. There's a story around this non-moving North Star is a symbol of the kingdom of the church. It's the everlasting kingdom. A kingdom which shall not fail, shall never be done away with. It shall be lit. When Christ returns, he's going to lift up the kingdom, which is the church that was established circa 33 AD on the day of Pentecost. We read about that in Acts chapter 2. So this is Night Signs. I am Aquilla Fleetwood, and this is how I believe the stars are actually for signs. After all, even if you believe in evolution, what are the odds that evolution would put a Big Dipper and a Little Dipper in our night skies? That's foolish. That is foolish. I could see why God would put a cup in the letter Yud. And of course, this is nothing but the handguard of a sword. This is a blade of the sword, with the tip of the sword being the non-moving North Star. This right here is a symbol of the church, or it's a symbol of heaven. Either way, can't be moved, can't be shaken. It's stationary. Yeah, I know as the earth tilts and back and forth between seasons, it will go a little lower on the horizon, then it will come up a little higher on the horizon, but it will stop because the earth has to tilt back the other way. Okay, shalom everybody. I hope you like this. Bye.